Hey everybody, it's Will here with Zpacks, and this is part 2 of my 3-part series on the long trail. In this video, we're going to be hiking from mile 104.5 to mile 184.4. This essentially covers the section from Rutland, Vermont, all the way to Waterbury, Vermont, where we had our second scheduled resupply point. At the beginning of this video, the long trail splits from the Appalachian Trail, and all I can say is from this point on, the long trail becomes much more rugged. There are also many more views, and we actually hit our first alpine zone in this section of the hike. In this video, we go up and over a ton of mountains, including the Vermont Presidentials and probably my second favorite mountain that we did on this hike, Camel's Hump. I really hope you enjoy the video, and don't forget part 3 of the video series will be coming later on this weekend, so stay tuned for that. We just left Rutland. We've hiked about a mile back on the long trail, and we have reached the long trail, Appalachian Trail split. The main junction. So you have to be a little bit cautious here because both trails obviously have the same blaze, and people have been known to accidentally hike down the long trail when they're through hiking the AT. It's exciting to be taking my first steps on the long trail, not the Appalachian Trail and the long trail, just the long trail. New trail for about, let's see, we've done around 104 to 107 where we are right now. So we've still got about 167 miles or so. It was in the low 70s in town, so we're a few thousand feet higher. So we've been hiking about 4.5 miles since the AT and the long trail split off. And the one thing that I've really noticed is that the trail has much less wear, much less activity than what we were experiencing, obviously, when it was coinciding with the AT. We've been climbing up. We're right here on the edge of the ridge, but it's really hard to tell because of how thick the vegetation is. To our left, as I've been hiking, I've been noticing through the forest, it looked like a body of water, and it's Chittenden Reservoir. It's a pretty big reservoir, judging by the map. I try to stay aware of what is actually around me, even though we may be in a green tunnel and obviously not really able to see, that far around. Just knowing what's through those trees and below that mountain is kind of cool. Well, we just made it here to the brook. This is at mile 113 of the long trail. We got this great little stream coming right through here, a little flatter section. We just came straight up to this little plateau, and it's beautiful up here. We're just gonna sit here. I'm gonna sit here and wait for the other guys to get here. I've actually been here for about, 12 minutes, so they should probably be rolling up here soon. I have a feeling it's gonna take a lot longer to do 3 miles with how the trail is looking now after the split. It is just constant up and downs. I would say that the trail hasn't changed all that much in this section from how it was originally built. That's the thing about the AT. Every year they kind of update little sections, so it's really nice, easier to hike, even though it is harder, but it's much easier than something like this. So I can totally see why people say this section, the northern section, is tough. So make sure you allow for a few extra hours to complete the mileage that you were doing in the first 100 miles. It's going to take you a lot longer. As you can see, look at this. It's just completely overgrown. And I definitely recommend, I'm wearing long pants and a long shirt. That's typically what I hike in, unless it's really hot. But in these conditions, it's perfect because there's just poison ivy and all kinds of bugs. The long pants really do help. We just made it to the side trail that leads to the shelter. It said on the sign 0.2 of a mile. Gut Hook says it's 1/10 of a mile. The sign was really old. Usually those signs are not accurate. Well, what a great hike today. 12 point something miles, and it felt a lot harder than 12 miles. We've got a lot of exciting trail ahead of us in the second half, and I'm excited to bring it to you guys and let you see what the northern section of the long trail is all about. Well, it's about 5:32 this morning, and we're up and at it early again. We've only got 13.3 miles to do today. We're gonna have another light day. Our packs are heavy with all of our resupply, and we've got some really hard days of hiking coming up, so I kind of set it up so that we're doing a little bit less the first 2 days back on trail and get our legs warmed up again, and then we're doing bigger miles the next few days when it's gonna get even harder as well. The good thing with us only doing 13 and starting so early, because the sun comes up so early, we can take plenty of breaks and we're never in a rush. It's one of the reasons why all of us are feeling great. Usually we hike 2 hours and then break for 30, and then hike 2 hours and then take a longer break for lunch. Just made it to our break spot. It was supposedly 2.7 miles from the shelter, and it took me an hour and 12 minutes to do 2.7 miles. That is really, really slow for myself. Normally I go way faster than that. Well, I think that's a pretty good indication of how much more difficult this section is than the earlier section. Just takes so much more time to maneuver. We just walked up on a giant porcupine that was like right in the middle of the trail. The last porcupine we saw was about the same time, maybe a little bit earlier in the day. Well, I have to say, this is just a wonderful section. After that break spot back there at the stream and the bridge, it has just been perfect. It feels like this section is hiked more often. We are kind of more on top of the ridge, so that's probably why it's in such good shape and it's easy to hike. We're getting really close to the shelter, probably within a couple tenths of a mile. Well, here we are. We made it to the shelter. It's right here on trail, which is nice. I love it when it's like this. This is a pretty basic, kind of crappy shelter. It looks like we're going to be hitting a bunch of not so nice shelters. I just got to mile 125 at Brandon Gap. We crossed the road, and now we're about to start going up to Horrid Cliffs. So far, the climb up Horrid Cliffs is not bad at all. It's actually a nice trail with switchbacks. I actually just got to a more flat section. It is steep, but the trail's in good condition. As you can see, we came up and out of the forest there as we're heading up to Horrid Cliffs. Now we're essentially walking on rock with this these low trees. We should be seeing a shoot off probably to the cliffs. Well, as we get closer to the top of the cliffs here, it's getting more vertical, that's for sure. So a little rocky straight up portion, and hopefully right at the top here will be the cliffs and the overlook. Well, unfortunately the cliffs were closed because it's peregrine falcon nesting season, and they are sensitive and an endangered species, so we did not get to see the cliffs. But you can see now we're walking through just an absolutely stunning section of trail. I mean, it hasn't looked like this yet. We're still going up a little bit from here, and we've got 4.7 miles to the shelter where we were supposed to stop, but we're gonna be there by 1 or before, so we're gonna go another 3.5 to a ski lift. So it'll cut into our hard day, which is 17.5 that we were gonna do up and over Camel's Hump. So we're gonna try to shorten that day to about 13 if we can, because it's going to be one of our hardest days on the trail. I have absolutely loved this section of trail up above the cliffs. It's looked like this for the last couple miles. We've just been doing small ups and downs right along the top of this mountain. We had a great view back there down into the valley. It was looking due west. If we had a more clear day, we would have been able to easily see the Adirondacks, but still, incredible view and wonderful hiking. We just came from that mountain way out there. We followed the ridgeline all the way down. It's been beautiful, but now we're going straight up these steps. So we dropped down, but we're going right back up, but we're going up way steeper. Well, it looks like we might be getting close to the end of the ridge walking on top of this beautiful mountain. It looks like it drops off. I do see another mountain out in the distance. Gonna be dropping straight down to the shelter, but if we go on, which I think we're planning to do, we're gonna climb back up and over another mountain. So it'll probably be that mountain right there in front of us. There have been a lot of downed trees along this ridge. Most of them you can get around pretty easily, but some of them were a little bit more difficult to get around. Like that one. Looks like we still got a little bit on top. We're not dropping down quite yet. Well, the mountain I saw back there that I thought we were gonna hit after our break, I was wrong. We just hit it now. We just went straight up. And right now I'm on the very top. You can see through there a little bit into the valley. We're about 3,400 feet up right now, but we should be dropping straight down. Yeah, just like I thought, dropping straight down the arm of this mountain. Really cool, really cool. Here we are, made it to the next shelter. See if the guys are here. How long have you guys been here?
2 hours.
32 minutes.
Well, we decided to move on from the shelter, which is where we were supposed to camp, and we decided to do 3.3 more up and over this mountain, nameless mountain. View looking kind of due west. We're heading down to ski lifts where we're going to be pitching our tents for the night. Almost done, about a half a mile left. Looks like I'm walking up to the chairlifts now. We'll see. We don't know what the camping's going to be like here. We're kind of taking a risk. This is where we're going to be camping tonight. Right here on this random ski slope to some ski resort that I'm not sure of. Well, that's the start of day 10. We're gonna remember this place. We slept up there last night. It was a great camp spot. We saw a lot of stars. Today we're doing 17.9 miles. We're gonna be up over 3,000 feet for the majority of our hike today as well. So it should be a fun one. There have been a lot of blowdowns through this section. We are, at about 3,000 feet, and there's no other ridge line west of us, probably almost all the way to the Adirondacks. So I imagine the winds from an eastwardly moving storm could be pretty intense. We're doing about 4 to 6 miles and then braking through this section because it's definitely taking us a lot longer to do 4 miles. Probably closer to almost 2 hours to do about 4.5 miles, 4 miles. So slowed us down through here. You can also see that this section right here is showing it's kind of like relatively flat on the map, but you've got roots and rocks everywhere. So it does slow you down through here. It just takes longer. Well, for the rest of the day, we're gonna pretty much be walking this mountain ridge at around 3,000 feet all the way up to as high as 3,800. We stopped at the shelter back there and just took a little breakfast break for about 30 minutes, and we're back on trail, and we've been climbing. So today is just going to be a bunch of ups and downs, small, like 600-foot climbs with a little 300-400 foot descents, but we're still like gradually making our way up higher. We are climbing up the Skylight Lodge. It's the first lodge that we're going to hit in this section. It shouldn't be too far. It was 1.7 from the shelter, and we've been hiking for probably 30 minutes. I would imagine at the top of this climb is gonna be the lodge. On the top of this mountain, we're seeing moose poop everywhere. There's a lot of it here. Some looks a little older. Man, my guess is there's definitely a moose that lives up here on this mountain or spends a lot of time here. There are a ton of down trees through this section. It's draining, to say the least. Just figuring out where to walk through here. Luckily, you can see people have kind of made little trails through here. This is bad though. This will slow you down right here. Right here. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put the camera out. There's too much trees to film through here. Too many down trees. We are climbing a broadleaf mountain right now. It's just over 3,800 feet tall. We've got about a 300 foot up. We've already been going up, but it's a pretty straight climb right here. The down trees, again, they've just really been rough through here. It's taken us way longer. We're probably going, we might be going a little under 2 miles per hour. So we should have a good view from the top of this mountain if we ever get to the top of it. And then we're just gonna drop off of it to the shelter for our next break. And then we'll be 10 miles from the end of our day. Give a little example of what it's like out here on the long trail north of the AT split. Look, you can kind of see a view out there. We've just been going straight up like this for the last few minutes. It was only a 300 foot climb, I think, so honestly, we're probably pretty dang close to the top. It appears that we've made it to the top of Broadleaf, or we're on a little plateau and a false summit. We'll see. We'll definitely find out. I was about to say there's not been as many down trees, and then I walked up on one again. But wow, that's nice. Actually fell parallel to the trail. Can't beat that. This is where the long trail turns and heads down to the shelter. The summit of Broadleaf is through this massive down forest, and you know, it's off trail, so typically I don't go to summits that are off trail when I'm doing a long hike. And these trees make this decision quite easy. So unfortunately, that's what it's like a lot when you're out here through hiking in the Appalachian Mountains. You know, you climb up, you know, you're waiting for that summit, and then you get to the top and there's no view, or you know, the summit's 2 or 3 tenths off trail and you've already got to do, you know, 18 miles, and the conditions are tough, so you don't really have a strong desire to venture off trail. We're gonna hit some others though, and hopefully, you know, hopefully those will actually be, the summits will be right on trail. Or, you know, if it's a 10th off, I'll do that if it's if there's not down trees. I just got to this little spot on the trail here where you can actually see out, and way out in the distance there, the tallest mountain. That's Mount Mansfield. That's the tallest mountain in Vermont. We're gonna be crossing that in a while. And then out in this direction is Camel's Hump, which is also a very famous mountain in Vermont that we're gonna be doing in a few days. So we're gonna be going along this ridgeline here, I would assume. Well, we just got to our next break spot, and the shelter is right on this beautiful little stream. Have to work just to get to the shelter. Well, here we are. Can't beat this. Well, I'm gonna relax here for a while. We started out from the shelter. We got 5.5 to the next shelter. One of the things I love about hiking through forests like this on the ridgeline is just how you almost feel like you're walking through a little tunnel. A tunnel through the trees, and you can hear the wind whipping up the side of the mountain, and look at this. Finally a view. Wow. Out that direction, eventually you'd run into the Whites. Probably, I see some big mountains off in the distance. Actually, that's probably Mount Washington right out there. We're camping at a place called Sunset Ledge tonight, so we're probably gonna be cowboy camping. We should have a great view for the sunset tonight. Well, we got our tent set up in here. This is what it looks like. And that's right here. And Benny's tent is through there. It's hard to make out because it's camo. You can kind of see it right there. And we're gonna have a good sunset. Well, I just got out of my tent. Let's go see what the sunset's looking like.
Gonna be a good one.
Heck yeah, it is. Well, I think that was what you would call a great sunset. No doubt. You got the Adirondack Mountains out there in the distance, and the tallest one right there is the tallest mountain in New York. Look at that. That's pretty cool. We've got to get out there to the Adirondacks. Right there's where we're going tomorrow. It's the start of day 11. We're climbing up Mount Abraham, which is the first 4,000 foot mountain we'll be going up and over. We went over Killington, but we didn't hit the summit as the trail kind of skirted the summit. We were just below 4,000 feet. So this will be our first one, and this is the first mountain that hits a alpine zone. So it's gonna look a lot different on top of this one. We've already gone up halfway. It's 2.6 miles from the road to the summit, and the first half was way steeper than this. It was vertical, but we're doing 14.5 miles, and we're going to be staying at, I think it's Mary Ellen Hut. It's been pretty rocky going up Mount Abraham so far, and we're still a few hundred feet from the top, so probably get rockier once we get even higher up. Well, we just came around the corner here, and we can actually see the top of this mountain in front of us. I do not think that that's the top, though. I just turned around and had this great view looking back from where we came from. We just came up and over this, and we were camping over there. Right along the edge there, there are some cliffs. It gave us that great view. Well, we're still going up. Look at this. It's getting steeper. Getting steeper. We're at 3,750 feet, and we're going to exactly 4,002 feet. So we still have a little bit left to do. Not much though. Here, let me turn around and see what's behind us. Oh, yeah, look at that. As you can see, the trees are turning into shrubs at this point now. Almost there, I think. There's a lot of false summits on mountains like this, so we'll see what it looks like up here. Not quite to the top. What a view though. What a view. Well, we should only have 30 feet vertical feet. There's a sign up here. Yeah, you can tell. This is the first time we've been to an alpine zone on the long trail. And what a beautiful sight it is. A little bit of a view. Yeah, just look behind us. The mountains we came over to get here. Well, here we are. Yeah. What do you guys think?
It's epic.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Whites a little bit. Well, we got a couple peaks like this to do today. We'll be just kind of following right along this mountain ridge before we drop down. Well, you can see we're on top of Mount Abraham, and out in the distance here, we see a big old mountain, and that's Mount Washington. Mount Washington on that side, and New York's tallest peak on this side. we are going to be going over here to Mount Ellen in the distance. We should be pretty much near 4,000 feet for most of the entire day before we start our descent off of this range to our lodge that we're going to be staying at tonight. Again, we're only doing 14 today, so we can take our time, and we started hiking at 5:44 this morning. Only have a little bit of time. This section of the long trail has been incredible. You can start back and go up Breadloaf Mountain. I was pronouncing it incorrectly earlier. I thought it was Broadleaf, but it was Breadloaf Mountain. So you start with that, and you'll hit Mount Roosevelt, Mount Grant, a few other mountains, and then you'll come up and over Mount Abraham, Mount Lincoln, Mount Ellen, and that'll make for a pretty good hike right there. Good section hike. Mount Abraham was awesome, and we're almost to the top of Mount Lincoln. Looks like it might just be a straight shot right up this. Let's see. Look behind us. There's Mount Abraham right there. We're still going. Not much further. Yeah, Mount Lincoln. Wish we had known about this place. We would have camped up here. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Burlington. What a view. This is a great range right here. That was our tallest mountain so far, Mount Abraham. So what an amazing hike. Most of the mountains here in Vermont are ski resorts, so you're going to see a lot of chairlifts on the long trail. Well, it's hard to leave Mount Lincoln. What a view we have, but you know, we're hiking to that, and that's calling my name as well. So look at this view though, all the way around Lake Champlain out there. Okay, so next up is Nancy Hanks Peak, and we're going to be dropping down to go to that one. It's not quite as tall as Mount Lincoln. Here we go, back into the forest. Well, right up there you've got the official sign for Nancy Hanks Peak, but if you look through here, there's an old sign for Nancy Hanks Peak, so that's pretty cool. They just left it there, and it's just getting covered up by all the new growth. Next stop on trail is going to be Castle Rock Chairlift. Apparently you can sleep at this place as well. They have a little ski hut where you can camp. This is great right here. Yeah, this would be a good one to camp at. Pretty cool. There's also supposed to be water here. I'm not sure exactly where, so I'm gonna try to find that sign for water. Should be about 1/10 of a mile off trail according to Gut Hook. Yeah, look at that. Oh, this is why I always carry a scoop cup right here. You got a reliable spring, but I mean, look right here, it looks like it's completely dry, but it's flowing right out of these rocks. But all you have is this little pool. Cup comes in handy, that's for sure. We're making our way up Mount Ellen, the tallest mountain of the day. We are within 100 vertical feet from the top, so we'll see if this one pops out of the trees. I don't think we're there yet, but we are over 4,000 feet right now. Well, I don't see a taller mountain. Huh. That's where we came from. We'll see. Well, we just made it to the summit of Mount Ellen. Unfortunately, there's not much of a view, but you get a little bit of a view with the ski lift. Well, we're leaving Mount Ellen, going back into the forest. We're on our way to Stark's Nest Lodge. It looks like it's sitting up pretty cool with a good view as well. Well, I think we found the best hut so far. Stark's Nest. First off, just look at the view that you've got from here. Pretty incredible. And then look at this. Hands down, the best one so far. Well, we're going downhill, straight down. This is the steepest part we've had so far. We're gonna drop down to the road and then climb back up 1,100 feet before we get to the lodge that we're going to tonight. We've got a ladder right here. Yeah, we're going down. It's kind of cool. It's like a cave. I don't know if the official trail comes through here or not, but there are blazes through here. Let's see. Look at that down there. Oh, I guess I can keep going up that way. This is pretty cool though. Well, okay, that in. Wow, there's ice in there. Unbelievable. Okay, back into the cave. Well, we're rolling up on Molly Stark's balcony, and I'm gonna break here because all I have left is about an 1/8 of a mile downhill. Pretty much straight down where I'm gonna be camping. We got a lot of climbing to do tomorrow, but only 12.5 miles. Well, I made it to the place we're stopping tonight, Birch Glen Lodge. Let's go inside, see what it looks like. Okay. Ooh, watch your head. Well, it's day 12 and it's a big day for us. We're gonna be going up and over Camel's Hump, probably one of the most famous mountains, if not the most famous mountain in the state of Vermont. We started hiking at 5:49. Well, this is looking straight ahead on the trail, and now this is going up. This is essentially what the trail has turned into. It's turned into this yesterday. Just no more switchbacks, 100% straight up rocky climbs, just like the Whites. So, Northern Vermont, man, we still got 100 miles left, and I think it's gonna be like this the rest of the way. We're gonna feel like we definitely earned it when we finish this hike. Well, we're almost to the top of Burnt Rock, and it's turned into just a complete rock scramble. But you can see the mountains behind me are what we went over yesterday. Yeah, it looks like we're right here at the top. Welcome to Vermont. Well, we're still making our way up here, and it's still vertical. You can see out there in the distance, there's the mountains we went over yesterday, right along the top. And now we're going up there. We have about a little less than 2/10 of a mile, and we'll be to the top. Yeah, this is officially a serious scramble. I definitely wasn't expecting this. What a backdrop. These mountains behind us are just incredible, rugged, jagged. How you feeling right now, Matt?
Badass.
I would say that this is as good as it gets, but it's only gonna get better today.
Peak doesn't have a view.
Wow.
It's like, hey, we're almost as high as we gotta climb later on today.
Yeah.
We gotta go all the way down to the mountain.
Huh?
What a view.
Yeah, what a view. Well, it just doesn't stop. Pretty much if the map says you're gonna go up or down, this is how it's been, at least the last 2 days, so. Well, we just got to one of the infamous ladders. This one's not too sketchy though, because, you know, it's not a big drop. It's just right here, and I mean, it's a little steep that way. Yeah, this area is definitely reminding me of Mahoosuc Notch. The way the rocks are in the moss, this is exactly what it looked like. It's a lot of fun right there. Up here in the harder section, even the flat parts are tough to navigate through because of all the mud and the roots and the rocks. We're within about 100 to 150 vertical feet from the summit of Mount Ethan Allen. I'm not just filming rocks. That is actually the trail. Yeah, it's kind of tough to even distinguish in the video, but it's tough to film through here because it is so steep and rocky. One slip and you're gonna break your leg or worse. So anyways, this is what it looks like heading up to the top of Mount Ethan Allen. Well, we made it to the summit of Mount Ethan Allen. It's a lot more tree covered than some of the other ones. This is the only view you have. It's actually kind of hot in the sun. Today's our hottest day, no doubt. We have started our climb to Camel's Hump. That's where we came from, down there, and we're heading this way. It's starting to go straight up. We will get to some ledges. That'll be our first like plateau, and then we'll make our way all the way to the top. This trail up Camel's Hump, it doesn't play around. I don't know if you can tell in this video, that is straight up. Let's see if I can do this. I'm filming with my iPhone right now to save battery life. Unreal. Unreal. We're still going. But look back at that. Look at that. Wow. Unbelievable. That's Mount Ethan Allen, where we just were. Well, it's definitely turned into a rock scramble, and we're not even to the steep part yet. Man, luckily I'm pretty skinny. It's a little tight in here. Woo. That was fun. So we're officially starting the last haul up to Camel's Hump. We have 900 feet of climbing to do in 0.8 of a mile. We're gonna be going up to 4,083 feet. So we're gonna make that climb fast, that's for sure. I love it like this. Get to the top. Don't play around. Well, here's the trail. And there's the hump. We're getting close now. We're getting close now. I hope you like straight up climbs, because if you do, then you want to make sure you hike to the top of Camel's Hump, heading northbound on the long trail. The trail's trying to come out of the trees. Let's see. Do we have a view? Yeah, we have a view. Look at that. Look at that. We are 0.3 of a mile from the top of Camel's Hump, and we've got 550 feet of climbing to do. I love this sign right here. 0.2 from the top, in case you forgot what trail you were on or which direction you were going. They were kind enough to leave this sign here. Actually looks pretty old. Well, it has been crazy steep, but the steepest is gonna be once we get up and out of this tree line. Still heading up, but I think we're getting close. I don't know. What do you think? I think we're getting close. It's like straight up. Okay, let's see what's going on next. Let's see what's going on. Look at that. Look at that view. Unreal. Not much further now. Don't look down. Actually, I recommend just looking at the rocks right in front of you. Let's see here. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, you can see behind. It's pretty crazy. Well, we're coming on up. I think we're, it's safe to say we're to the steeper spot. Thank God, I thought we were about to have to do some serious scaling there. Okay. Look at that view. The end is in sight, but we still got another 100 feet or so of climbing. Let's see here. Tough part is just finding the right, rocks, the right path to get up. And when you do, you can just move. Let's see. We're almost there. Woo! Yeah, baby. Wow. This is sick. Look at that. Look at that. I think we're probably on the final push here. Let's get to the top. Okay.
Epic. Epic. Most rewarding.
Yes.
Was that?
I've ever done.
Where's that rank? Up there with your summits?
Number 1 summit. Number 1.
Yeah, that's pretty good, huh?
No question.
Well, let's go to the tip top. Why don't we? We're here. There's Mansfield where we're going in a day or two. I think this is what they call 360-degree views. Wow. You got Burlington out there.
I believe there's one thing I gotta do at the summit.
What is that?
Come on, give it.
Woo!
Don't fall. Well, the climb is over, but let's see what this downhill is like. It looked like it might be steeper on this end, but I'm not sure. But you got marvelous views again, looking out to Lake Champlain and New York's tallest mountain right there, still in sight. It's always fun when you get up to these higher alpine zones on the East Coast. Well, here I am looking back at Camel's Hump. Already come a long way. I finally made it to the shelter. The guys will be here probably another hour or so. Campsite information. Welcome, hikers. Well, it was worth the 2/10 of a mile walk-off trail downhill to get to this shelter. This is nice. We're the only ones here so far. There's also great water sources down there. Look at this. It's pretty basic. I kind of like it. I think I like the view, and it's got a really, really nice roof line, and it's very well constructed. This would actually be a great shelter to be in a rainstorm. What a day. It felt a lot longer. I mean, we only had 12.8 miles, but it felt more like 16 or 17 with all the climbing that we did today. So for us, tomorrow we head into Waterbury, our second resupply town. Couldn't be more excited to be there. It's also the headquarters of Ben & Jerry's. We are definitely gonna be hitting that up. So first 2/3 of the hike are complete. We still have about a third left, and it's gonna be hard. We've got the tallest mountain in Vermont coming up too. Wow, what can I say? The long trail is beautiful. I've loved every second of it. It's tough, it's hard for sure, but you'll be in good shape when you get done with this baby. My clothes are already not fitting. Yeah, so for this hike, I used my Arc Zip from Zpacks. This thing's a little beat up. I put a good amount of miles on it. But one of the things I love about it is just being able to get into everything through my front zip pocket here. It's also got an external pocket, with a waterproof zipper, but this is just kind of nice if I need to get something out of the center of my backpack, but I don't want to take everything out. It's a great feature to have. I still oftentimes use the top loading portion of the backpack, but you know, I like having this option as well. So yeah, the Arc Zip, I love it. It's my favorite backpack at the moment for sure.
I figured we'd hear one when we stayed there at the pond.
That's the Minnesota United. Their soccer crest has a balloon in it.
How are you so big, Rabbit? Well, we just made it to the parking lot. We're about to go into Waterbury, so this is the end of our second section of the hike. From here, we're gonna run into Waterbury, resupply, have a Nero day. We're only doing about 5 miles today. And then tomorrow we're gonna start the last section, which is pretty much like the last 90-something miles of the trail, and it's gonna be pretty tough, but we have loved this trail so far and very much looking forward to the last section. What I'm looking forward to even more right now is breakfast in town. So we're gonna finish off the last 2 miles either on a newly constructed trail or a road. I'm not sure which it is. And then we're gonna be in town in Waterbury. Well, we had a short little road walk back there. It's probably by about a mile. And then the trail actually starts up again right next to the river. It's kind of nice that they did this. They used to just walk the road the whole way, and we're gonna get to a footbridge in about 1.5 miles. What you can't tell from this video is that, holy cow, this grass is soaked. I might as well have just jumped in the river. Wow. Oh, my shoes are soaked. At least we're going to town. I feel like I'm in Virginia on the AT right now.
You're the brave one.
They're not mooing. Moo. This is one of the more interesting sections on the long trail. Well, here's the footbridge that we're going to be crossing. Well, we're crossing over the footbridge. This is a nice one too. Wow. Yeah, this is really nice, suspension bridge. Before this was constructed, you used to have to walk a little bit further down trail and cross a normal bridge. So this is nice, convenient. Well, we're at it again, trying to get a ride. Well, we just made it to heaven, also known as Best Western Plus, here in Waterbury. We smell so bad. They're gonna get us in a room as quickly as possible. Early check-in too. It's like 9 a.m. and our room's already ready. Yeah. We're taking pretty much a 0 day. We did 6 miles into town here in Waterbury. For all you ice cream lovers, do we have a treat for you? Well, the long trail has brought us to a magnificent place. Ben & Jerry's headquarters. Oh yes, this is really happening. Let's go check it out. You ready for some ice cream?
Yeah.
We walked here just for this, huh?
Oh yeah.
What a campus I got here.
Ice cream paradise. Heaven. I think I'm gonna try the half-baked sundae. Oh yeah. Well, we're in the beautiful downtown of Waterbury, Vermont. This town was actually founded before the United States of America was founded. Pretty cool. Find some place to eat. Well, that concludes part 2 of the long trail. What a great section it was. The mountains did not disappoint, that's for sure. The climbs were pretty sketchy at some points, as you saw, but they get even sketchier in part 3 of my video series. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be coming here in a couple days. In part 3, we're going to be going up and over a couple crazy mountains in some pretty intense weather. We go up and over Vermont's tallest peak,
Mount Mansfield, and also over J Peak. And both of those summits were in storms, winds, some of the strongest winds that I've ever experienced in my life hiking. So make sure and stay tuned for that. Otherwise, as I always say, happy hiking.